Historical Terran weapon
Confirmed. Threat level escalating.
This blade defeated monsters long before your empire existed! Impossible! A primitive weapon shouldn't possess this power!
In the United States and the UK, people love stories where one regular human does something the whole galaxy says is impossible. This is that kind of story. At the top combat academy in the stars, ancient blades slept for thousands of years. No alien could wake them. Then a quiet human cadet from Earth picked one up during a normal class. The blade came alive in his hand. Lights flashed. Aliens froze. The instructor stumbled back and gasped. Why is this blade awake? The truth behind that moment will shock you. 3 big secrets no one saw coming. Why the blade chose a human. What Earth had hidden in plain sight. And how one cadet changed the rules of the entire galaxy. Let me show you exactly how this happened. The Galactic Combat Academy floated high above a blue-green world. Its halls were clean and bright. White walls glowed with soft light. Big screens showed fighting styles from 100 different planets. Young cadets from many races filled the rooms every day. Some had blue skinches. Some had scales. Some had 4 arms or large black eyes. They all came to learn how to fight. They all wanted to become the best warriors in the stars. In one large classroom, the air felt heavy with excitement. Today was Historic Weapon Day. Instructor Zyrax stood at the front. He was a tall insectoid alien with a shiny dark exoskeleton and long, thin antennae. His black eyes missed nothing. He wore the same dark gray uniform as everyone else. On the metal table in front of him lay many strange weapons. Glowing energy blades hummed softly. Crystal spears sparkled. Heavy plasma axes rested in neat rows. At the far end of the table sat one plain old sword. It looked dull and heavy. Dark metal. Simple handle. Dried red stains still marked the blade. The label above it read Terran Historic Blade, Mid-Medieval Era Executioner's Broadsword. Most cadets laughed when they saw it. This one is useless, a blue-skinned cadet said. Primitive earth metal. No power core. No energy edge. It is a museum toy, others nodded. Humans were the newest and smallest race at the academy. Most aliens thought Earth people were soft and slow. Only a few human cadets had even been accepted. One of them sat quietly in the 3rd row. His name was Kai Reynolds. He was 21. Short dark brown hair. Steady brown eyes. A small scar on his left cheek. He wore the standard dark gray cadet jumpsuit like everyone else. He did not talk much. He just watched and learned. Instructor Zyrax lifted a glowing purple energy blade first. These weapons answer only to strong life force, he said in his clicking voice. Ancient blades like the Terran one have slept for over 10,000 years. No hand has woken them. They reject the weak. They reject the unworthy. Watch, he wrapped his clawed hand around the old earth sword and pulled. The sword did not move. It stayed stuck to the table as if glued. Zyrax frowned and pulled harder. Nothing. A few cadets snickered. Zyrax stepped back, antennae twitching. As expected. Dead metal from a dead era. Who wants to try? One by one, the top alien cadets came forward. A huge reptilian student grabbed the handle with both hands and roared. The sword stayed still. A graceful 4-armed cadet tried next. She focused hard and pulled until her arms shook. The blade refused her. More students tried. Each failure made the laughter grow. Finally, Zyrax pointed at the human row. Reynolds, you are from Earth. Perhaps your primitive blood will amuse us. Come lift your ancestors' toy. Kai stood up slowly. The room grew quiet in a mean way. Some aliens whispered jokes about weak humans. Kai walked to the table without a word. His boots made soft sounds on the clean floor. He stopped in front of the old sword. Up close it looked even older. Tiny cracks ran along the dark metal. The dried blood looked almost black. Kai stared at it for a long second. Something in his chest felt warm. He did not understand why. He reached out with his right hand and closed his fingers around the worn handle. The moment his skin touched the metal, the whole room changed. A low hum started inside the blade. Soft red light ran along the edge like fire waking up. The dried blood on the steel began to glow. I felt a strange pull, as if the sword knew him. He lifted. The heavy blade rose from the table as if it weighed nothing. He raised it high above his head in one smooth motion. The tip pointed straight at the ceiling. Bright light exploded from the steel. Red and gold sparks danced in the air. Every holographic screen in the classroom flickered and showed the same words. Analysis. Unknown power signature awakened. Instructor Zyrax stumbled backward. His black eyes went wide. His antennae stood straight up. The purple energy blade in his other hand clattered to the floor. In a shocked, broken voice, he gasped the words that froze every cadet in their seats. Why is this blade awake? Silence hit the room like a hammer. No one moved. No one spoke. The blue-skinned cadets stared with open mouths. The reptilian student's jaw hung loose. Even the four-armed girl forgot to breathe. Kai stood in the center, holding the glowing ancient sword. Blood from an old cut on his palm mixed with the light on the handle. His face showed pure surprise mixed with sudden power. He had only wanted to try. He had not expected the blade to answer. Outside the tall windows, the stars kept shining. But inside the academy, everything had just changed. The quiet human cadet from Earth had done what no alien in 10,000 years could do. And the instructor's shocked question still hung in the air like a warning. The glowing sword hummed louder in Kai's hand. Warm energy flowed up his arm and into his chest. It did not hurt. It felt right, like the blade had waited for him. Instructor Zyrax found his voice again. Put it down, he clicked hard. Now, Kai slowly lowered the sword but did not let go. The red-gold light stayed bright. Every alien in the room backed up 2 steps. Zyrax slammed his hand on a wall panel. Red lights flashed. Security to Classroom 7. Possible artifact breach. Within seconds, the doors hissed open. 4 armored academy guards rushed in with stun weapons ready. They stopped cold when they saw the human holding the awake blade. One guard whispered, "That sword is in the Forbidden Vault records. It should be dead." Kai looked at his own hand. "I did not do anything special. I just picked it up." His voice was calm, but the room was not. A tall blue cadet pointed a shaking finger. "Humans cheat." "He must have hidden tech," another cadet shouted. "No primitive can wake a Starforge blade." Zyrax raised both arms for silence. His antennae trembled. The records say this blade last woke during Earth's old wars. It chose only one master every few thousand years. Then it slept again. No non human has ever succeeded. This should be impossible. He stepped closer, careful and slow. "Reynolds, how do you feel?" Kai thought for a second. "Stronger." Like the sword is saying something without words. The light on the blade pulsed once as if it agreed. Zyrax turned to the class. "Everyone out. Now." This session is over. The alien cadets rushed for the door. Many looked back at Kai with fear and anger. Some looked jealous. The guards stayed. One of them spoke into a communicator. "Notify the headmaster. Notify the Galactic Council Watchers. A Terran historic blade has awakened in a first-year human's hand." Kai finally set the sword back on the table. The moment he let go, the light dimmed, but did not die. It stayed half awake, humming softly, as if waiting for him to return. Zyrax stared at the young human. "You will come with me. Do not speak to anyone. Do not touch another weapon. Walk." They moved through long white halls. Other classes stopped and watched. News traveled fast. By the time they reached the upper levels, cadets and teachers filled the balconies. Whispers followed Kai like a wave. "That's the human, he woke the dead blade. Earth people are dangerous." Kai kept his eyes forward. His palms still tingled. Deep inside, he felt the sword calling him even from floors below. The headmaster's office was a wide room with a living star map on the ceiling. Headmaster Vorel was an old gray-skinned alien with wise eyes and a long robe. 2 council observers in silver suits stood beside him. They had already seen the video. Vorel spoke first. Cadet Reynolds. In 300 years of this academy, no human has ever activated a Class 9 historic weapon. Explain. Kai shook his head. I cannot explain. I felt drawn to it. When I touched it, it just woke up. One council observer stepped forward. According to sealed records, that blade is called the Oathkeeper. Legends say it drinks the will of its chosen and grows with them. It was locked away because the last time it woke, entire fleets burned, and now it chooses a first-year human from a backwater planet. Zyrex added quietly. He lifted it with one hand. No strain. The mass readings went crazy. The blade made itself lighter for him. The room fell silent again. Headmaster Vorel looked at Kai for a long time. Until we understand this, you are restricted to quarters. The blade will be moved to the secure vault. You will not go near it. Kai felt a sudden sharp pain in his chest when he heard those words. The sword did not want to be separated from him. He almost said so, but stayed quiet. As guards led him away, Kai looked back once. Through a hallway window, he could still see the classroom building. Somewhere inside, the old Earth sword glowed brighter, as if angry. And for the first time since leaving Earth, Kai Reynolds felt that his quiet life at the academy was over. Something much bigger had started. That night Kai could not sleep. His small cadet room felt too quiet. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the sword. He felt its pull across the whole station. At 3 in the morning, the door chime rang. Instructor Zyrax entered without waiting. His black eyes looked tired. Get up, Reynolds. The blade is rejecting the vault. They moved fast through empty halls. Red emergency lights lit the way to the maximum security level. When the thick doors opened, heat and red lights spilled out. The Oathkeeper sword floated 3 feet above its locked stand. Energy crackled around it. The metal walls had scorch marks. 2 vault technicians lay against the wall, alive but stunned. The sword turned slowly in the air until its tip pointed straight at Kai. The humming became a clear note, almost like a voice. Zyrax whispered. It broke 3 containment fields. It wants you. Kai stepped forward. The moment he was close, the sword flew into his open hand. Light exploded again, brighter than before. This time images flashed in Kai's mind. Old Earth battlefields, knights, soldiers, a long line of human hands that had held the blade across history. The last image was his own face. The sword had chosen its new master. Alarms blared across the academy. Headmaster Vorel and the council observers arrived at a run. One observer raised a weapon. Contain the human, Kai raised the sword on pure instinct. A soft red shield formed around him. The observer's shot bounced off harmlessly. Everyone froze. Kai lowered the blade at once. I do not want to fight. I just want to understand. Vorel lifted a hand. Hold your fire. The blade has bonded. Forcing it now could destroy half the station. He looked at Kai with new respect and new fear. Young human, you will train with it under full watch. If you lose control, we end this. Clear? Kai nodded. Training began the next morning in a private combat dome. Zyrax ran the sessions. At first Kai could barely control the power. When he swung, the blade released waves that cracked the floor. When he blocked, energy shields appeared on their own. Day after day he practiced. Alien instructors watched from glass rooms and took notes. Some looked amazed. Some looked worried. Word spread beyond the academy. Ships from other empires arrived and parked in orbit. They all wanted to know the same thing. Why had an ancient human blade woken for a simple cadet? Rumors grew. Some said Earth had planted a weapon. Some said humans were a sleeping threat. Kai felt the weight of every eye. Yet each time he held the Oathkeeper, he also felt stronger. Faster, clearer. The sword taught him without words. It showed him balance. It showed him when to strike and when to wait. 1 week later, proud alien prince from a warrior empire challenged him. "Prove the blade is not a fluke," the prince said. "Fight me," the match was allowed. The dome filled with watchers. The prince attacked with twin energy spears and perfect form. Kai moved differently. He let the sword guide him. 3 clean swings later, the prince's weapons lay in pieces, and the tip of the Oathkeeper rested an inch from the prince's throat. The dome went dead silent. Kai stepped back and lowered the blade. "I do not want your title. I just want to finish my training." That night, the council observers sent a long message to the stars. The human cadet and the awake blade were no longer an academy problem. They were a galactic event. The academy changed around Kai. Some cadets asked to train with him. Others refused to stand near him. A small group of angry students tried to jump him in a hallway. The moment one of them threw a punch, the Oathkeeper appeared in Kai's hand in a flash of light. It had come to him through solid walls. The attackers fell back in terror. Kai did not swing. He only said, "Stop," and they ran. Headmaster Vorel called a full meeting. "The blade has fully bonded," he told the staff. "It now answers only to Cadet Reynolds. Attempts to separate them cause energy spikes. We have 2 choices. Expel him and risk the blade going wild, or train him properly and learn what this means for the galaxy." They chose training. Kai's days became harder. He fought combat drones, simulated fleets, and even full-gravity storms inside the dome. The sword grew with him. Its edge became sharper. Its light became cleaner. Sometimes it wrapped him in armor made of pure energy. Zyrex, once doubtful, now watched with something close to pride. "You move like the old Terran legends," he said one afternoon. "Perhaps we were wrong about Earth." News reached Earth itself. Quiet messages came back. Kai's parents were simple people. They had no idea their son carried anything special. But sealed Earth government files, according to later reports, had always known about the old blades. A few historic weapons had been sent to the stars on purpose as quiet tests. Most stayed asleep. This one had not. One evening, a sealed shuttle arrived. A woman in a plain black suit stepped out. She was human. She showed high-level Earth clearance. In private, she told Kai, "You are not random. Every few generations, Earth sends handful of cadets who carry old bloodlines tied to these blades. We hoped one would wake. The galaxy needs to see what humans really are. Not weak. Not soft. Ready." Kai felt the truth settle on his shoulders. The sword pulsed in agreement. But danger came with the truth. A radical alien faction decided the awake blade was a threat that must be destroyed. They attacked the academy at dawn with stolen ships and boarding teams. Alarms screamed. Cadets ran for pods. Kai ran toward the fight. In the main hangar, he met the attackers head-on. The Oathkeeper blazed like a star. Red-gold light cut through enemy shields. Energy blasts that should have killed him bent away from the blade's power. In less than 10 minutes, the hangar was quiet again. The remaining attackers dropped their weapons and knelt. They had seen enough. When the smoke cleared, Headmaster Vorel approached Kai slowly. Blood and dust covered the young human's uniform, but he stood tall. The sword in his hand glowed soft and steady. Vorel spoke so everyone could hear. "The blade is awake because it found a worthy hand. And that hand is human." In the weeks that followed, the story of the human cadet and the awake blade spread to every corner of known space. Fear mixed with respect. Some empires pulled their ships back from Earth space. Others sent gifts and training requests. The Galactic Council held an emergency session and made a new ruling. Humans would no longer be treated as a minor race. They would sit at the main table. Kai Reynolds stayed at the academy. He did not become a prince or a ruler. He became something simpler and stronger, the first human blade master in galactic history. He trained new cadets, human and alien alike. He taught them that real power was not about the weapon. It was about the heart that held it. Instructor Zyrax became his closest advisor. The old insectoid often told new students, "I once asked why the blade was awake. Now I know. It was waiting for him." The Oathkeeper never slept again. It stayed at Kai's side, sometimes as a sword, sometimes as a quiet glow on his belt. On the day of his graduation, the entire academy filled the Great Hall. When Kai walked across the stage, the old sword floated beside him for a moment, and then settled into his hand. Every alien cadet stood and saluted. Many had tears in their eyes. Years later, Kai returned to Earth for a short visit. He stood on a quiet hill at night and held the blade up to the stars. The red-gold light mixed with the light of home. He thought about the classroom, the shocked instructor, and the question that started everything. Why is this blade awake? The answer was simple now. Because a human had needed it. Because Earth had never been as small as the galaxy believed. Because one quiet cadet had been enough to remind the stars what humanity could become. The blade hummed softly in his hand, content, and somewhere deep in its ancient metal, the spirits of every human who had ever held it seemed to smile. The story of the awake blade became legend. Parents told it to children. Soldiers repeated it before hard battles. And every time a new human stepped into the big dark of space, the galaxy remembered to watch them carefully. You never knew when the next quiet cadet might pick up something old and change everything again. The deepest secret came out years later. According to sealed Earth records, the Oathkeeper was never just a sword. It was one of 7 historic blades sent into the galaxy as quiet beacons. They were made to wake only when humanity was ready to stand equal among the stars. Kai Reynolds was not an accident. He was the sign. When the instructor gasped, "Why is this blade awake?" he was really asking the question the whole galaxy had forgotten to ask about Earth. The answer changed the balance of power forever. One human hand on an old handle had been enough. If this opened your eyes. A quiet human cadet walked into a classroom full of stronger aliens and walked out having woken a legend. The blade chose him. The academy bowed. The galaxy stepped back and made room for Earth. That is the power of one steady human heart. If this HFY story hit you hard, do this right now. Like the video. Subscribe to HFY Sci-Fi for more original stories every week. Turn on the bell so you never miss the next one. Want early access and extra stories? Join our free newsletter, link is right below. Comment and tell us, what would you have done if the ancient blade woke up in your hand in front of all those aliens? We read every comment. The next legend is already loading. Stay sharp, humans.